Having been raised in South Africa, you could say that my story is unique.
It all started with a letter. It's in your blood. A letter that was typed on an old school typewriter in a small room in Mozambique in 1992. A letter written at the time to a 16-year-old version of me, but yet its words hauntingly speak to me today as a father, as a hunter, and serves as the start to my blood origin. Dear Robbie, it was indeed a surprise to hear that you are keen to become a hunter. It must be in the blood. I'm glad you breached this subject yourself, otherwise I might have been accused of leading you astray. With these first 3 lines, even then he recognized something within me. His name was Leo Kroger. Born in Khabarovsk on the Amur River in Siberia in 1912, to a Russian mother and a German father. A place and a time that forced one to grow up quick, forged traits of independence, self-reliance that would stay with him his entire life. He moved between northern China, Russia, and Germany as dictated by communism, Nazism, revolutions, and thus war. War was a constant to how he was raised. When the opportunity arrived to escape, without hesitation he sent himself and his family to then Portuguese East Africa. Not speaking a word of the language, he lived the heyday of Africa, raising a young boy, my father, in this paradise on earth, and lived through his final military revolution in a paradise that then became Mozambique. Through all of these experiences, he honed an indelible characteristic that allows me to tell you about him today. He was a storyteller, capturing his experiences, his relationships, his adventures in the written word. This letter, his letter to me, was almost prophetical. He states at the end, "I hope you will share this letter with my great-grandchildren one day." Little did he know that one would become his namesake, Leo James Kroger. When he wrote this letter to me, the Africa he knew was changing. This was my Africa, what I grew up in. What he hoped so dearly for in this letter was that 3 generations of Krogers could go hunting together. That never happened.
Unlike typical people who were taken out in the woods and taught to hunt by their fathers, by their grandfathers, by their mothers or their grandmothers, all I got was the stories. I would go and visit my grandfather in Mozambique. He immigrated there in the 50s. This was a man who was a hunter-gatherer by necessity. He had to go and find food for his family in northern China, in Manchuria, where my father was born and my aunt was born. You could say that hunting was sort of bred into him. He really just had to do it. He had to do it for the survival of his family. And so I got to learn about him, and I got to learn about what it meant to him to hunt. And him going to Mozambique in the 50s and was just the heyday of Africa. He lived it, he breathed it, he went and explored it. He hunted with the names of hunting: Robert Ruark, Fred Bear. Those are the kind of guys that my grandfather hunted with. But I never got to experience it. I got to live those stories through the Word. I got to live those stories through the trophies that were on the wall. I'm a proud American. I was lucky enough to become one. And sometimes I just have to pinch myself because I'm allowed to experience something that not many people get to experience. I get to really explore, feel, immerse myself in, I guess, what my grandfather got when he was in Mozambique, but I'm in Mississippi. It's something that is just not lost on me. It's something that I think it's lost on a lot of people. I think that just the way that I was raised, not being able to be raised in this country, the appreciation that I have for what this is that's around us. That you can walk down any public road, explore any national forest, and it's yours. You get to feel it, you get to soak it in, you get to get a privilege that hardly anybody gets to have. And to me, what's probably more important than me being able to experience that is that my boys get to experience it. So a lot of people would say, but you're from South Africa. You're from Africa. What's so special about the wildlife here? Well, I think everybody has a skewed idea of what wildlife is in Africa or South Africa. There's no public hunting ground. There's no public hunting seasons. It's very difficult to own a gun. You can't just go out your back door and go experience what you get to experience here. It's a lot different. When I think about what hunting meant to my family, it's sort of this feeling, it's this thing that's, pulsing within me, beating inside my chest. And that same pulse is in my boys. And I want to provide them every opportunity that I can to discover that pulse, to embody that pulse, to truly develop that love of what it means to be outside and hunting that I know that my grandfather had, I know that my father has. And that's so important to me. My name's Robbie Kroger, native to South Africa. proud American, and a member of the hunting family. Everyone has their own story. This is mine. It's in the blood.